speak.
The moral thing is, all right, you can't go out and get drunk, but you can sit at home sending naked pics to another girl while you're with someone else.
If she sent me a titty pic,
Yeah,
first,
but that's a completely different range of social
But that's what I'm saying.
disruption.
But that's still
private and public.
But that's
Private and public.
Who decides what's
Because it's out in public.
Because theirs was to one party. Theirs was to one party.
Inebriated. And
I just think once you start
causing a scene.
Once you start punishing people for what they're doing,
What? So you reckon
outside of football?
You reckon anyone?
Yeah.
I'm just saying outside of football.
So any form of cheating, then that becomes you brought your club into disrepute.
Well, I'm just
So
saying.
let's just pull a name out of the hat.
No.
cheat. He goes and he hooks up with a bird,
No,
and then it
Richmond
makes its way
Central,
to the gossip columns.
That'd be bad. That'd be bad news for the club. Like,
Well,
they
do you
wouldn't-
reckon that they would
Sure,
even
go.
contemplate giving him a suspended fine for
Being
a
a dick.
private relationship where he's fucked up?
No, I don't think so. That's
Exactly.
my point.
So
That's my point. That's why they gave him a suspended fine.
But you're saying that they should. Well, you don't reckon Dusty should have gotten a suspended fine?
Well,
He
listen,
did get
I
a
think
suspended $5
he
grand
got a suspended $5 fine, which means
That's what I mean.
Which is
But you don't
basically
reckon he should have got.
Wait. I'm confused. What's your issue with it the most?
My issue
Yep.
with it the most
No fine.
is that Jack can't see the difference between a private matter and another matter.
That's what it is.
That is public.
What's
I
your?
can see the difference. I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't sound like
I'm
that.
just saying it's just like, where do you draw the line?
Doesn't like you.
It's
You
what
draw
I'm
the
saying.
line when
No.
it becomes it's not public.
You draw the
That's
line when a bloke
that's so
threatens.
blurry though, mate.
You draw the line when a
Bring
bloke
it back
threatens
to
a
you.
female
Bring
in
it-
a public place when he's drunk and a dickhead and he's on drugs.
So alright, here's my
Well,
rebuttal to
no one
this.
knows he's on drugs, but then
Oh, yeah, neither.
So alright, so next weekend, say Swanee and his missus get photographed having a fight in a public place, and he pushes.
But that's a personal matter.
I'm
That's
just
an issue.
saying. I'm just saying.
That's assault.
That's in the
what
public
I'm saying.
arena.
It's in the public
that's
arena.
assault. But say,
Would you say
remove
that-
the pushing out of it?
Okay, remove the pushing out, but
That
It causes a
there's
disruption in public.
yeah, and they're asked to leave the bar because they're having a public argument about this issue. Would you say?
No, but he threatened to kill her. That was the difference.
But he didn't threaten to kill her.
No. We're not even.
No, he threatened to
That's
stab her in the
tape-
eye.
No.
The
That's
tape-
no
this-
one.
We're not
There's
bringing
no
that
proof
into
of
it
that.
at all. We're not.
Oh,
No proof
he
of
never
that
said
at
that.
all.
Only the
And that
facts
was
are-
No
the
proof
facts
because the
are-
tape, that camera mysteriously wasn't rolling that night.
No. Only the facts are is he was drunk. He became a little bit argumentative and was asked to leave the restaurant.
So how's that
Okay.
different from so many other incidents, like your incident that you
Yeah.
had with your boys, with your Hall, and how's that different?
Players not
'Cause
get?
Hall plays
did they get a
VFL.
fine
What?
for lighting the midget up?
No, I'm
Yeah,
talking
we got
about
in
the
trouble for
public.
that.
I'm talking about the disruption that had happened in public with the potential fight with Marsh and Mr. Hall.
Yeah, because
Ah,
Ray Hall
right.
plays Magoo's.
Oh,
No
that's
one
different.
knows who he is.
But isn't that just the same thing? A disruption
No.
in public?
No. Well,
I'm just saying the media.
I think-
the
I
media
think-
cast.
I think we're getting
we are getting
way-
a long way away
I
from
think
the point.
we're
But
way
the point
away
of
from
what the club said in the email to us and in the statement was that Dusty has the right of everyone to be judged innocent before guilty.
That's spin.
But he was cast pretty guilty from the moment it all came out. Like KB, who was associated with the
So
club.
you reckon
He's
the
calling out a
suspension,
12-month
the suspended fine was balanced out on the aftermath of the negative hype that he
I think
received?
so. I think so. I think if it hadn't been blown up as much, if it had been kept a little bit quieter, he probably would have gotten a straight up fine of $5 to 10 grand. All right, Dusty, pay
Matty
us up.
beat Brendan to
But
start
they've
his
had to
room
go
out
in to
and
back him
swept it
up
under
because at the end of the day, the media judged him guilty.
Alright, so say, Nick Rewalt, when he had his dick pics out
Yep.
by that bird,
Yeah.
Yep.
should he have been fined then?
No,
Or did
wasn't
he bring them into disrepute?
No, he didn't. That's
Exactly.
what I'm saying. But the situations are a little bit different.
No, it's not. It's not because Nick Rewalt's obviously shared his dick pics with the boys. They were taken in a consensual manner. But then there was one party that goes, okay, well, I'm going to try and exploit this.
for some money.
But then, the players are up there. They are not the. They're not the perpetrators. Nick Rewalt wasn't the perpetrator of it.
This was a whole bigger thing though. This involved like the rape allegations and stuff.
I'm about ready to pull this conversation.
Pull the conversation. I reckon
I'm
maybe pull
pulling the conversation because
Let's
I
save this for
feel
private.
it feels like an argument between two people that we don't all have to be in
I
the
hope
same room
listeners
for.
understand my point.
Tiger Time just cannot agree to disagree regarding Tiger.
We've got other villains to talk about.
We do. We've got the big ones.
And we've got someone lined up ready to have a chat, actually, about a certain club.
So are we going to go into it?
Of course we're going to go into it. Do you want to go into it?
We
need to go into it. People have been waiting
first
to
thing, I
go
need
into
it. I need to ask you guys, who are the Cass?
Who are the what?
The Cass.
Oh, yeah.
Who are the Cass?
Yeah, good question.
It's 3 blokes, isn't it?
Yeah,
Who are they?
three independent
It's like 3
rabbities
Supreme Court judges
Yeah,
in Switzerland,
but-
basically.
chosen by WADA, essentially.
Okay.
Because who else would employ them to do it?
It's
Yeah.
like the High Court of Sport.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of
So it's like taking something to the Supreme Court.
Or the
in
High Court.
States.
No, it's like the High Court. of
Is it
Australia.
whatever these guys say at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Is law.
No jury,
Yeah.
And
no
you can't
jury.
fight this.
You
It's
can
unanimous
appeal it.
decision.
You can go to Sweden.
You need 2
Or
out of 3.
Switzerland.
2 out of 3
Switzerland.
judges.
Can it?
2
I
out of
think
3
you could
judges
Anne
to.
Murray might be going there.
2 out of 3
Anyways,
judges to
what's
give
it-
their report. And
Are you going to bring us in,
unanimous.
Danzy?
I can bring us into the Big Bird, but do we all have something we really want to know from their point of view?
It's a good day to be a
but
saner.
in a bit,
That's at
because
the end,
there's
that's
only
it.
one
The
song in
tune's at the
between, so we've got to bridge it out a little bit.
All I can say is it's a good day to be a
Yeah,
saner.
that's true.
Well,
I feel sorry for the players at the end of the day.
That is a great day.
The biggest thing I've taken from this is that everything I've
Pop the
heard
phone
sounds
down.
like it was poorly managed by the club.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, these guys are employed by the club, but not only that,
they're a super club.
Well, there's not the fact that they're a super club, but they work with these people who are giving them orders every day. And they get used to taking orders from James Hird, from their coaches, from the CEO, and that sort of thing. They get used to
They
learning
did something
from them.
very negligent and naughty, and
Well, I think
they've paid the delayed price for it.
Well, I think the club probably did the most wrong, and I think the club it'll come out in the years
Of
to
course,
come.
who
Is
else
that the
would
players
do
will
that?
sue them because the club really is the one that caused the problem. In the
Do you reckon
first
there'll be
place.
an
They put
avalanche
them
of
they put the
litigation?
players into a situation where and it's still not proven whether they took anything or not. That the CAS hasn't proved that or anything like that, but they've shown that there's a good enough chance that they did. And the fact
beyond
that the
reasonable
club-
doubt.
The
though.
fact that the club put them into that position.
But what's really fucked them is that they have got records of some injections that they had, but like during a period, but none of it was disclosed in the monthly or whatever it is. You know, the supplements or whatever schedule you have to give to the SADA.
The thing I think that's brought it into such a focus is the fact that it's
That makes
James.
it really sneaky.
Well, the fact that it's James Hird. If it was
Slim and Jimmy.
if it was
So I don't think
any
he
other
was- I
person,
honestly don't
I
think it
don't
was
think
him.
it would have dragged on as long. Because you got to think about this. James Hird is the man at Essendon.
He's a golden boy.
He's
His
obsessed.
family, man. His family's
His
all been
family,
through that.
his
Dad,
premierships, his
James
everything.
Hird.
It's James Hird. But like so much of that of time and media focus has been about James Hird's denial and battle to keep his name clean as much as possible.
Just accept
And right
that
down
they-
to that
they
last
fucked up
interview
and
that he
just wear it.
did, is I think that has had like a magnifying glass, obviously on an already huge
Yeah.
situation.
They would have got that much more respect if they had just come out and go, yeah, look,
Yeah.
we're fucked up here.
Yeah.
Let's just work to get it
Yeah.
sorted out as soon as possible,
The thing
regardless of the outcome. Like,
I think that
just
changed
get
it
done.
all.
Did you guys watch the interview?
Yeah, well, that's the most interesting thing is that the only point I took away from James Hird, 'cause a lot of it was seemed quite self-serving and he didn't
So
say a
hurt.
lot really. But one of the things he did say, which I believe he was probably right, is that this was made public years before it was ever going to be heard in ASADA. You know, this was made public when the investigation was underway, so it got tried in the public eye,
No,
which changed everything because
No.
that's all about.
they got tried in the public eye because Hurd and fucking all them wanted to try and prove they're innocent. Look, Cronulla, look at fucking NRL. Blokes took early plea deals. Bang. 3-game suspension, 6-month backdated.
And
You
they-
missed
Yeah,
3 games.
but that-
Essendon were negligent and we're like, no, we've done nothing wrong.
Okay, I'm
when
not saying
Stephen
that-
Dank wouldn't come forward and
I'm
tell
not saying
anyone,
that. I'm not saying that. But
it's
at the same
Essendon's fault.
time,
They
at the
it's
same
a
time, you
double-edged
didn't hear
sword.
about the Cronulla thing
They
until
jumped-
it all came out.
Because they're not dumb about it. They
No,
fucking
but-
took the deal.
No, but what I'm saying
They
is
took
that it
the
didn't get
deal.
broken.
No,
It wasn't a news cycle for a year before Cronulla went to the table.
So you're saying it
About
being
making
such a
it.
spotlight
I'm just saying,
changed?
I'm
Not
just
in
saying
Melbourne. Not in
that
Melbourne.
You can never no one's ever going to know the truth of it at this point
But-
because it's being tried in the public eye, and the public eye is so fickle.
No.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
but what, no,
so
but what
I
hang
believe
on, hold
they
on,
did something wrong.
excuse me. Ever since they got, what's his name? Essendon employed Swiskowski, whatever his name
Dank.
is.
Yeah.
Dang.
No.
Or-
Swikowski,
Yeah,
when they got him
he
to
did
do
the
the private
internal
report.
audit.
Ah,
the
yeah,
report,
yeah.
whatever.
Ziggy.
And that was released public by Essendon. And that just painted like a picture of like what the fuck
A
are you
shit
guys
picture,
doing down
yeah.
there?
You're an
But also-
organisation that
But
doesn't have
that was
records.
driven by them, and
Yeah.
if they weren't able to prove against that, then
Again,
The end
though,
result-
can I just say the only reason they were forced to put that out and to make the public, public audit of themselves basically is because it had come out 6 months before in the Herald Sun front page that Essendon are being investigated by ASADA.
The only reason they put that out is because everyone at Essendon didn't know what the fuck was going on really, or no one was willing to put their hand up and accept blame for the consequences that happened. And that's why they're like, oh,
How do you
Ziggy,
know that?
he comes out and
How do you know
investigates
that?
But
all
you
big,
do know
all big
that-
business
Alright.
and fixes their problems.
nah, that's true.
Let's ask someone who's actually still an Essendon supporter.
So he's a cheat.
Shut up.
Haven't heard from the Big Bird for a while. Hopefully he picks up.
Hello.
Ah, Big Bird. Commiserations, my friend.
What?
Well, we're on the topic of your beloved Dons. I know it's the off season, but you're live with the boys in the bar.
Big Bird, nothing gets people rolled up so much as talking about your club.
I know. What is it with that?
It's a good question. Cheats.
You
Been in the public eye too long.
now Big Bird,
Yeah.
you've had a while. What'd you say?
It's more the other people. I'm desensitized to it now. So.
Exactly. Exactly. I think. Do you reckon Essendon supporters really have a code of silence about it?
Kind of. It's a weird feeling. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like being in limbo.
Yeah.
So you just,
Are you kind of glad it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
over
with
now,
it.
though?
I don't reckon it's over. So it doesn't feel over to me. But
No, of course
I
not.
reckon there'll be appeals and shit, and it'll drag on.
What's the most hurtful thing you've heard about someone regarding your Bombers, either to you or you've listened to?
Sorry, what was that?
What's the most hurtful thing someone said regarding the Bombers that you've heard?
I don't think anything's been hurtful because, I don't know, you don't know what the truth is, so
Yeah.
But what about?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Really.
How do you feel about copying the full
Anything's been
force of it?
hurtful, but
What about slanderous?
what was that?
Slanderous.
Stuff that you think.
Slanderous?
Stuff that you
Yeah.
think's gone
Oh,
too
yeah.
far.
Well, it's not much different to usual. It's just like everyone sort of gives a shit, but you sort of just take it on the chin. I don't know.
What else can you do, Big Bird?
I
Yeah,
imagine you're
exactly. You
used
can't.
to it.
What do you do exactly?
You're just
Yeah,
at the end of the day, we're just supporters who absolutely. We rock up, but that's about all we can really do. We become members
Yeah,
and
you
blah blah
can't-
blah. But
You can't take it personally.
but do you think I was just talking before, I was saying that you know how much I love James Hird, Big Bird.
Yeah.
You know how I feel for the Essendon supporters when they see such a great sully his name in such a way. But do you think if it was someone else that
Imagine
it
if it
wouldn't
was
have
Matty
got?
Knights.
Do you reckon it would have? Do you reckon him being James Hird's been one of the big problems? That the fact that it was him.
Yes and no.
That good.
Like, sometimes I wish he'd just shut up, but other times, I think he's got a right to stand up for himself.
Wait, do you reckon Matty Knights would have got bashed if he was in Herd's seat?
Oh, shit, yeah.
You guys would have sold him to the Wolves a long
Matty
time
Knight
ago.
we're talking about. It's not James Hurd.
Did you watch the interview, Biggie?
Yeah, I did.
And what were your thoughts on it?
Before the interview, I was like,